I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how like we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah.
Come on, Nate.
The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them. He's a man. They can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. I'm proud when you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. You had no work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready? Let's go to the house. Let's go to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
Now, this game is not over. It is just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I am coming on with breaking news, and let me get to it. I got other messages coming in as we speak. Several, and that's what the message says, several Houston Texans players and Dallas Cowboy players have tested positive for COVID-19. Let's see. Several members of the Dallas Cowboys and Houston Texans have reportedly tested positive for COVID-19, according to NFL Network's Ian Rappaport. The exact number of players from each team is unknown. The identity of most of the players is unknown, but Ezekiel Elliott's agent confirmed that the Cowboys running back has tested positive for COVID-19. Several Houston Texans and Dallas Cowboy players have tested positive, one of them being Ezekiel Elliott. It is believed that the players did not catch the virus in team facilities. Texas is currently in the throes of a major COVID-19 surge, with the state setting new records for hospitalizations in 6 of the past 7 days. Just 3 days after Houston opened up to 75% capacity on Monday, city officials are considering new stay-at-home orders and could possibly turn the Texans NRG Stadium into a temporary COVID-19 hospital. But that ain't what they had. That's not what everybody had planned. Everybody had planned being able to have 75 to 100% of fans in the stadium, not turn it into a COVID-19 emergency hospital. Texas isn't alone. It is one of the more than 20 states that have received recorded increases in COVID-19 infections, including Florida, Georgia, Arizona, Washington, and other states with NFL teams. This feels like an ominous development, despite the NFL's chief medical expert saying in early June that he was very optimistic that football would be played in the fall. A surge in COVID-19 infections and hospitalizations could be the very possible thing to change that forecast. That's the breaking news that I had literally coming into the studio. My phone's dinging and pinging and bleeping all over the place. Several players from the Texans and the Cowboys, including Ezekiel Elliott, tested positive for COVID-19. 281-453-1000. 281-453-1000 is the number to dial. Want to hear your thoughts. Does that change anything for you? Does that change anything for you? I know Not many people called in and said, oh, yeah, I'm running down there to the stadium. As soon as they got that thing open, I'm going on in. I want to hear from you. Does that change anything for you? If you were not going, are you still not going? Are you pulling back on anything? Or if you were going, are you now not going? And are you pulling back on anything? Or is it, hey, baby, light it up, I'm coming. Light that thing up, I'm coming. Save the light, turn the light on for me. I'm on my way. I'm just interested. I'm curious to know. 281-453-1000 is the number to dial. 281-453-1000 is the number to dial with our breaking news that Texan players and Dallas Cowboy players have tested positive for COVID-19. Obviously, we got a lot to talk about with, hey, Keith Hennick, a lot to talk about with statements that were made over the weekend. Bill O'Brien got a little bit more to worry about now than whether players are going to be protesting. But I'll tell you what he said. I'll also tell you what J.J. Watt had to say. And believe it or not, there are folks that are selling their J.J. Watt jerseys for pennies on the dollar now because of a statement made by J.J. Watt. We'll go to the phone line. Hello, you're live on a lunch break. Who's this?
Hey, it's David Grubb.
Hey, man, what up? I just broke that breaking news that I got coming on. I know y'all lit it up on Hard in the Paint. I saw who you had in the middle of your promo card there, bro. I ain't mad at you. At all.
Well, you got to bring in the good folks, man.
Yeah, man. Who was it? Houdini said, when we going to get to the good part? Get down to the good part. Let me bring David Grubb in here. He is, of course, host of Hard in the Paint. Had another lit show today. And I'll let you tell us about that in a second. But, David, the breaking news was the Cowboys and Texan players that tested positive for COVID-19, one of the players being none other than Ezekiel Elliott. So my question thus far is, does that change anything for folks? Does that change anything for folks? Are they still going to run it on down to the stadium as soon as they light that thing up? Or are folks now going to be more cautious and probably less willing to run down there as soon as August-September timeframe?
Until it costs a team a game, fans, by and large, are not going to care. They're not going to care. I mean, Sheena and I had a really good discussion about this morning, about the whole perception of that for some reason athletes are obligated to perform here, that this perception of it's a public service for them to be out there, like they have no choice in this matter. And the public at large, I think, does view it that way, that they should be out there and they should be out there playing, and for your amusement and my amusement and for our professions. And I just don't think people care until somebody really gets sick or dies. And even then, I would imagine that there'll be people who say, you got to keep playing because so-and-so would want it that way.
Yeah, man, that's that craziness right there, bro. I'm really... I told, the significant people in my life I was going to go in here and try to behave myself today. I've been on one, for the last couple of weeks. I ain't apologizing for it. I've been on one for the last couple of weeks. But I said today, I'm going to go in here and try and, act like I got a little sense. And here y'all go. Y'all done lit me up again. Let me tell you something, man. That's like when the brain stuff started happening, the CTE, and we had the movie and everything like that. You had these people out there that were like, oh, but these guys knew what they were signing up for. They knew what they were signing up for. I want so bad to have a thing that allows you to instantly have to go and put on some pads and get in on a field and let Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt, Calais Campbell, and all them cats just tee off on you and then ask you, is it just a case of you knew what you signed up for, or can you see now how this could possibly be more than anybody anticipated or expected? And go ahead, David. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be nice.
The part about CTE that bothers me too is that they treat it as if it's an individual impact, but it does impact the families and their children And those, I mean, you see it with these, where you see athletes who end up homeless, or you see athletes who turn and get more violent because they're confused as they get older, or you see the debilitating cost of insurance for people who have CTE, as it turns into, for a lot of people, it turns into Parkinson's syndrome.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
turns
Hold on,
into
David. Hold on. Let me hit this commercial real quick. And Stati Floor, I'm gonna behave today, bro. Don't be tuning in from Utah and calling me crazy. I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816. If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
Trouble getting focused? Getting your to-do list done?
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the Legendary
Sup, Gary
KYOK
Jones? Sup?
1140 AM.
Call us, Garrett.
93.3 FM and KYOK.org.
This is Jasmine Highsmith, and you're having Inside of Sports with your lunch here on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK.
All right, y'all. We're back here on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm trying to behave today, man. Garrett Jones just told us to keep raising the bar, so I guess I ain't gonna try to behave too hard. But David, man, you were talking before the break about CTE, and now we got COVID-19, and you got folks really believing that these players have some type of responsibility to get on the field or get on the court or get on the diamond and play for our entertainment purposes. Because poor us, we're going through COVID-19, and these other people feel like they're not being treated right. Well, talk to me, man.
Yeah, it's so sad. I just feel for these folks because, the tragedy of them not getting to watch what they want to watch. I mean, again, where's this outcry for people to make movies and put on TV shows? Why is it only the athletes? And again, the risk to them is in a number of ways just from COVID. Let's talk about this. Number one, you've already seen Florida the last 2 days has had record highs in COVID-19 numbers.
Yep.
Over 2,000 cases each of the last 2 days, 2,000 new cases. And they've already been found that they've been suppressing the numbers anyway.
Right,
so
right.
You have that. You have the fact that Black Americans are dying at a higher rate than everybody else from COVID-19. Then you go put on top of that the stress of being a high-level athlete. And I've talked to enough athletes, and I've read some from a number of medical folks that the exertion of being a top-level athlete, as we know, it can compromise your immune system. You're working out, you're outdoors consistently, you're around people, all those things in close quarters, it can compromise your immune system. So you put all those things, and we've seen that the NFL only views CTE as a one-time medical issue. They're going to do the same things with COVID-19. They're going to view this as I guarantee, like just like you've seen on the college level, and I had a great discussion about this morning on my show as well with these waivers that they're not calling waivers that they have an athlete sign. That same stuff is going to be pushed into the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, that the leagues are not going to take on the burden if you get sick. They're going to say, we told you could opt out and not play. But you put them in a position that, well, if you don't play, there's all these punitive things as well, like opening up a CBA, like fining you, like paying you less than what you earned, all those things. So you have set it up so that you're forcing people basically to decide to play and jeopardize their health, and no one else. That's
what I'm really trying to figure out. I'm really trying to figure this out with everything that is within me. If there's nothing to worry about, why I got to sign this waiver? Why do I have to sign this waiver? And show me where the art major's waiver is, please. Real quick. I don't need to see whose name on it. I just need to see art major, engineering school, law school, GED program. I need to see everybody on campus signing the same waiver, and that's not what's happening.
No, and from, again, we had a legal analyst on this morning, Dan Lust, and we talked about that specifically, and that based on the contract as he's seen it, the waiver as he saw it with Ohio State, that is a legal document, and that there is a good opportunity for, if it just takes one player to stand up and go to court about this, because Ohio State's saying it's not really binding, that athletes can choose not to play and they would still get their scholarships if they chose not to play. But again, you are putting the onus on the athlete to decide what their health is. And there's no one on their behalf able to negotiate or to represent them legally and say, this isn't right for you.
Right.
And their parents, by and large, are not educated or financially able enough to pay for an attorney who is going to look for them. So somebody's got to step up on their behalf, because there's no, and it's going to go down to high schools too.
Right, exactly.
These high school kids are going to get pushed into it too.
Yeah.
And so if you're going to keep forcing people on the field without them having a legal recourse, then that should be a big part of this discussion and driving some hesitancy to put people back on the field and on the court.
I got to go to a phone call, but I want to see the waiver at Katy High School versus the waiver at North Shore. I want to see those two waivers. I want to see the same waiver at Carver High School that I see out at Jesuit. I need to see the same waivers. So hold on, let me get a call on here. Let's see. Hello, caller. You're live on the air with AJ and David Grubb. Who's this?
Garrett Jones, what's going on, Doc?
Hey, man, what's going on, Doc? I need to send you this link and let you get in on this video call with us too. But hey, man, what's your thoughts about this, man? You got David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint, joining us as well. Several Texans and Cowboy players tested positive for COVID-19, including Ezekiel Elliott. And David was saying on his show earlier that he and a very phenomenal sports journalist, broadcaster, Sheena Quick, were talking about how people feel entitled, like they got to have, athletes are supposed to get back out there and entertain them. Garrett, talk to us, man.
Man, I that's a double-edged sword when it comes down to the athletes and their health and everything that goes on with it. Because from a fan's perspective, and I had the opportunity to kind of study the fans when I played, and even now, even more so now, it's more or less athletes are like a piece of meat, to be honest with you. Because they get a chance to start to learn about how athletes are shipped in and traded and all those different things like that. And because they're paying their money, and it's unfortunate, they feel like they need to be entertained, and it's one of those things where it's hard because the athletes are performing and it's a job and they're trying to take care of their families. But when it comes down to putting your life on the line, just for the sake of entertainment or anything that comes along with that, you got to be careful, man. And that's the thing that, I was looking at today. They don't have a handle on COVID-19, so I personally would not go out, to be honest with you. You know, I've had a couple of people ask me, you know, do you think there should be a season? Absolutely not. For the simple fact that, you know, they don't have a good handle on it because you don't know what the long-term effects are going to be. It's just kind of like what David was talking about. The fact that I put my body through so much for so long, if this gets on me, I might not be around. And it's the same thing with all the rest of the athletes there because of the fact that we do so much outside and we pushed our bodies. And it seems like this COVID-19 situation, the actual virus itself feeds everything else up in you. And automatically, because you're playing ball, that ages you in dog years. So it's hard, man. It's a hard decision, but you know, you gotta take care of yourself first, and everything else will fall into place.
David, I know you got a question. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I think a lot of this has been made about the financial implications for players. My thing at the end of the day is, and I want to get your opinion on this, is what good does that money do you in the short term if your career is over next year because your lung capacity is diminished to 40 to 50% of what you had? That 1 year gain, I think it's, again, owners are not going to, the leagues are not going to fold if they don't play this year. None of these leagues are going to fold. So I don't understand the disingenuous argument of unless these leagues play that we could see a loss of these major sports. I don't see how that happens. And then just that correlation of making the athletes seem as if it's their job to hold up the entire athletic system in this country.
Right, and you hit the nail on the head. It is, in a sense, putting it on the athlete's back to be able to say, hey, look, you guys are looked at as superheroes. Go out there and do what you do and entertain the world and give us something else to look at. And when that type of pressure is on athletes, you know, they want to go out because, I mean, you got to think about it. Athletes themselves have been programmed to push past pain, to push past everything else in order to get out there on the field. You can't make the club in the tub. So that mentality is what's in us. It's ingrained in us, and a lot of times you have to save athletes from themselves because they'll want to get out and think that they can get it done, but they're not looking at the macro. They're not looking at, you know, at the end game. You know, they want to get out and do their thing and play ball and all those different things. And we got all those different pressures, the fans. You got the owners saying, hey, man, I think we need to go ahead and do this because of this and this. The long term isn't what is thought about.
David and Garrick, stay right there. I got to take a quick break. I hate to cut this off, but we got Garrick Jones, former Houston Texan, and right now working on becoming the general manager of the Houston Texans, and David Grubb, host of Hard to Paint. We'll be right back right after this.
You need supplies, but you don't want to visit the pharmacy. What do? Call US Med for home delivery of your supplies. If you have diabetes and you're worried about going to a crowded pharmacy, pick up the phone in the safety and comfort of your home and let US Med deliver them to you with free shipping. And now if you test your blood sugar 4 more times a day and inject insulin 3 or more times a day, you may qualify to get a new continuous glucose monitor at little or no cost, which may eliminate the pain of pricking your fingers and helps you make smarter diabetes decisions. Plus, we'll send you a 90-day supply and bill your insurance company for you. Get some peace of mind. Call US Med today.
800-417-0851. 800-417-0851. That's 800-417-0851.
How'd you like to eliminate your expensive cable bill forever or get new satellite internet where cable can't go? Well, now you can have affordable satellite internet service for a few dollars a day. All you need is a mini satellite installed and you can have unlimited internet connections wirelessly in your home or office. And no cable boxes means unlimited connections and no clutter. You can surf the internet or stream any of your favorite television services with no cable. And the best part is, satellite internet service costs only a few dollars a day for your entire home. Yes, fast internet to surf or stream television for a few bucks a day. Call now for free details and learn how to drop your expensive cable bill.
800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. That's 800-712-8044.
Having trouble getting
your to-do list done.
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
Hey, you want some sports with your lunch? Well, tune in to the legendary KYOK at the lunch break. And I'm Raven Rogers.
All right, y'all, we're back at it here on Media Monday on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. I got my brother David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint, AM 1280. And you can also follow him on the iHeart Radio app out of New Orleans, Louisiana. And then we got the man, Garrett Jones, founder and commissioner of States Developmental Football League, and working on becoming the general manager of the Houston Texans. He's a former member of the Houston Texans as a player, also played with the Falcons and other teams, including the CFL. We're talking about this COVID-19 breaking news that we've gotten out of the NFL, where several players for the Texans and the Cowboys have tested positive, including Ezekiel Elliott. And David asked a very good question before the break in reference to that money right now literally means nothing if you're not even able to enjoy it because you're trying to overcome the repercussions or the side effects or everything that goes along with COVID-19. Now, a 22-year-old woman had to have a double lung transplant. Now, she had underlying conditions. Guess what? Somebody in the NFL might have them too. Somebody might have scar tissue on their lungs for recovering from COVID-19. Asthma.
You get a bronchial infection. Anything make you susceptible.
And David, you put it out there. Garrett, what are your thoughts, man?
Like I say, man, the sport of football is a hard, grueling sport. It's a profession that it takes a toll on your body, and it actually ages you a lot faster than you normally would at let's just say a desk job. You got to think about it. Guys have played since they were 7, 8 years old up until now. So when you're done, your body's beat up. That's the gist of it. I joke about it aging you in dog years, but realistically, it does. The quality of life for athletes when they're done diminishes. Oh my goodness, it's almost like it's just sped up, 4, 5, 6 times than anything else. And to be in a position where you could actually get this and it speeds things up in you, and it just enhances all of the different underlying issues you may have, whether it be high blood pressure, like I say, scar tissue, asthma, anything that you have, it seems like it just magnifies it. And that right there is something that, you can't come back from. That's something you got to live with if you manage to stay alive. And like I say, I don't think they have a good enough handle on this thing, especially for all the athletes that are out there, trying to entertain, trying to step up to the plate, because that's how we were programmed.
Right.
You can't make the club in the tub. And it's unfortunate that, all of this weight is put on the athletes, and if they don't do it, they're selfish. They make all this money. No, they're not getting paid what they're worth. If that's the case, the billions that are generated, we need to distribute that throughout these players, especially in this trying time, because they are putting their lives on the line to make sure that people are able to escape their reality.
Yeah, David and Garrick joining me here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. I want to jump sports real quick. Baseball has been crying broke. Oh, we broke. We ain't going to make it. We ain't going to make it. And every single one of their proposals, different game amounts and different pay structures, all came out to the exact same percentage. They only want to pay about 30%, 33% of the players' salaries this year. That's all they want to do. That's all they feel like they can afford. And their latest offer got rejected. Oh, by the way, they just signed $1 billion TV contract with Turner Sports. And you're wanting to run players out there, make them play for less money, and still possibly contract COVID-19, and you're going to barely make it off this new $1 billion that you got in your TV deal? Help make it make sense, Garrett, David, either one of y'all. Help me out, please.
It doesn't make sense. You talking about 12 straight years for the major leagues setting revenue records, annual revenue records. 12 straight years.
12 in a row.
In a row. Last year, I think they were up to $10.6 billion.
$10.6 billion. That's right.
So every year. Like I said, it went from 10.3 to 10.6. So they're making money. And again, none of these owners, these are billionaires. These are billionaires with a
Would it
B.
be?
One season is not going to destroy them. One season is not going to destroy. But this has nothing. The baseball stuff has nothing to do with this year. It has nothing to do with this year. It's all about next year. Because when the CBA expires next year, this is what the owners are setting up. They want to reduce player salaries. And they started that last year. Remember the whole offseason where Bryce Harper couldn't get signed and everybody's wondering, why is the guy who's coming off an MVP, he can't get a contract? Because the owners have done this before. We've seen collusion in baseball. We've seen owners withhold the books. We've seen owners do this time and time again, put it on the players and say, you're being greedy for asking what you signed for.
Well, Garrick, the landscape is a little different this year. It's not just about players, quote unquote, wanting to be greedy. There's health issues that are legitimately involved that no amount of money in the world can bring somebody back if they don't know that they've got an underlying health condition that may cost them their lives because they were trying to please the owners and the fans.
Right. Like I say, it's a double-edged sword for these guys, man. You talk about essential workers. This is in that vein, and this is the way they're making it. And these players themselves are having to shoulder that load, and that's a big load, man. I mean, to go out there, you're going to make some good money, but you're not going to get paid what you're worth. It has never been that in the NFL, MLB, NBA, anything. The monies that are generated for these organizations are in the billions when there's a salary cap on these athletes' salaries. So your boss will never pay you enough to live next door to them. And it's unfortunate that now we have this being exposed even more so that everything is fragmented. So you have the fans on one side, you have the owners on one side, and you got the players. And the owners understand the dynamic of that because now the fans want their money's worth. It's almost a shut up and dribble type of situation. And it's sad because they're not even looking at the fact that this is a pandemic. This is something that can kill people. And they just want to be entertained because they're paying their money, they're paying salaries, let them tell it. And it's unfortunate because the owners now can step up to the plate and say, hey guys, because you're making this sacrifice, this is what we're going to do. But it's business as usual, and it's unfortunate, man.
Yeah, David, Garrett, go ahead, David. Go ahead.
I'm just saying, like, this weekend when all this stuff came up, and I said, my thing was, when we talk about black voices and everybody's saying, well, let's listen to black folk, one of the black folk we should be listening to is Kurt Flood. This is what he died for, literally. He gave up his career, and his life was destroyed because he fought for players and gave that sacrifice to make sure that the conditions were better. So if you're on the player's side, how are you have to respect what he did to get you to this point and to concede. And there would be players who would lose 80% of their salaries under the proposal that the major leagues put out to concede that much. Anybody who's been in any labor negotiation, whatever, you don't get that ground back. Right. They don't give it back. Once they take it, they're going to say this is the new system one way or another. So to me, it's like the players understand, and baseball players have always been better about this than the NBA and the NFL in that regard, is that the strength of the union is mostly in saying no. Now the players don't have to necessarily be as contentious as they've been, but they know that their services are what makes this thing go on. And NBA players and NFL players in particular are taught, again, like you can't say it any better than that, is just they're taught that sacrifice is just part of the game, that you giving up your best interest is just what's best for you and the team. And I think baseball players understand, because it is so much more of an individual sport in a lot of ways, that the gains for one are the gains for all. And if we give those up, you're going backwards.
Garrick, let me ask you this. All right, you're the general manager now. Several of the players in the locker room have tested positive, whether they've gotten it from the facility or not. What are you telling Cal McNair or whoever the owner of the team is about what y'all need to do going forward?
Bottom line, the players are the engine. If we don't have the players, we don't have anything. And then I'm retired. I can't get back out there and give you the plays that I used to give you. So we have to do what's best for the players. Because if I'm at the helm, it's a family, and those players are my children. So I would never put my children in that position to be hurt. And we'd have to figure that out. We'd have to be the ones that went against the grain with the NFL and said, hey, look, we really we need to have an emergency meeting and sit down and really look at this thing. And I'm an against the grain kind of guy. When it comes down to that, man, these are lives. It's bigger than a game. And that's what would have to be, discussed. And that would be the atmosphere within that facility. It is bigger than a game. Family first. And we're going to take care of our players.
Yeah, I like that. David, let me come to you, and Garrick, I want you to weigh in on this as well. So now when we hear what Jason Tatum and De'Aaron Fox and those guys were asking, what they were asking for, one of the things was for insurance funded by the league in case they contract COVID-19, or even if they get injured, because now they've had this shortened time to get back ready, get back out there, and it affects their future ability to earn money on a max deal. Now, does that take on a different light or a different sense of importance given what we know right now?
Well, that negotiation isn't complete. They're working on it, and we'll see what happens there. But the players are absolutely right to ask for some extra and additional protections, because remember, when the season ends, according to their plan, when you get to that end in October, and you're talking about less than 2 months before you restart in December, you could have players potentially playing by the end of 2021 more than 150 games. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of games to squeeze in just over a calendar year, about a year and a half's time, whatever. So yeah, you certainly, again, you talk about an athlete's career is very finite. There is no forever for most guys. The average guy is going to get 2, 3, 4 years. And if you're going to try to capitalize, but you're giving me more risk, again, it's the increased risk is not on the owners. The increased risk is on the players. And if they don't have some type of insurance to protect them, yeah, you're going to see guys get nagging injuries. You're going to see ankles and knees and hamstrings and things like that pop and get torn and strained and all that. And guys, I would imagine there are going to be plenty of guys who are not available for the start of the next NBA season because of this short window. So yes, if I'm a young player, I'm asking for protection. That's my union's job. And you should be, if those questions are not asked up front, if the season starts, it's too late then.
Garrett, what about in basketball? In football terms, that's like 2 16-game seasons back to back with a month off or so. So how do you go in and fight for those players? Saying, hey, these guys want extra insurance, and being a former player, here's why I think they should or should not have it.
Absolutely, no, that's a must. And before you even take that field, you have to understand, and you have to know that you will be compensated for anything that happens to you. Because like I said before, this is not a regular job. This is something where you're putting your life on the line as soon as you put a helmet on and you step back out there. So your body is conditioned for an entire season. Your body is conditioned for that little bit of time that you have off, and to push your body to those limits just for the sake of getting back out there in the field. Yeah, you definitely have to have some things in place that are going to help these guys regarding insurance. Because it's just like David said, man, there's going to be guys getting injuries all over the place.
Yeah.
Because of, how the season is starting, what's been going on, because guys have been quarantined, all those different things. So there is a lot that's at stake. This year here will set the tone for the next 10 to 15 years with sports professionally. And the NFL and the MLB and NBA, they got to do the right things, man. NHL, everybody, they have to do the right things by these players, because without the players, you don't have anything.
Yeah. For those just tuning in, we got Garrick Jones, former Houston Texan player, played in the NFL, the CFL, founder and commissioner of the SDFL, and in the process of trying to become the general manager of the Houston Texans, and putting in the work. He ain't just sitting around talking about it. He is putting in the work. And also we got David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint. Let me ask you guys both this question. Do you think that the climate that we're in right now with change and reform and social justice awareness and protests and things like that, does that give the players more leverage to be able to say, hey, before we go back out there, we need this? We're seeing it on the college level. They're saying before we work out, we need to be able to do this, this, and this. And several of the colleges are saying, yeah, let's do it. Does that help the pro players as well? David, you first.
It depends on the owner or what the league decides to do. Because the players' leverage, their only leverage in every circumstance is withholding your talent. That's it. That's the only leverage you have as a player, and you have to be willing to do that. Now, certainly Michelle Roberts, the head of the NBA Players Association, is listening to those players. Her statement is that we're going to take in all these concerns and make sure that they're addressed before we agree to starting the season. But it's really going to be how owners treat this. And it's ultimately always on them. If they create a situation where it is not explicit but implicit that they don't approve of players who decide not to come back, if they're given that opt-out, if it becomes a source of division where guys look at the guys who made that choice and it's played out that way, if the league frames it that way, if they allow the public to frame it that way, those things don't lead to beneficial discussions. But I'd like to see, players fully understand what it means to withhold your talent and why that is leverage and what it means to use it. Because we've seen it used before. You go back to the NFL-AFL All-Star game in New Orleans that ended up getting moved to Houston. When we talk about the startup of the NBA's Players Union in the first place, it was because they were going to withhold their talents at the All-Star game, say we ain't going to play unless you give us a union today. So, I mean, withholding your talent is really the only leverage you have, especially when it's a situation where owners can make money. Today, they can't make any money. When games get played, and they can, if the players say we're not going out there, then it means something completely different. It's one thing to say it now when there ain't no games on the schedule. But once that schedule is written up, then that's the only leverage players have.
Yeah, David. Garrett, what are your thoughts on that? Garrett, did we lose you?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now. Go ahead,
Okay,
Jimmy.
got you.
Yeah.
Okay, so to echo what David said, no, I completely feel that. But I think the aspect of with the climate today and the owners not being blind to what's going on out here in the world, they now are more sensitive to these questions that they need to have answered for these athletes before they step foot on the court, field, diamond, it doesn't matter. So they understand that, it's strength in numbers. And if the athletes decide that, they want to pull that card, now some changes have to be made because there's no other opportunity for anybody to make money. And it's just like any negotiation. You got to figure out what pie is. You got to figure out what the other person, what they're going to be able to do without you and what you're going to be able to do without them. And for these organizations, like I said, without the players, they don't have anything because the players essentially are the opening act, the headliner, and the after party. Yeah. And you got to take care of them. And that's what it's all about. So with the climate today, now the conversations, even though uncomfortable, they're a lot easier to have now because there's some attention being gotten right now.
Gentlemen, I hate to do it. We're up against a break. Garrick, I appreciate you dialing in as you always do, man, and I wish you nothing but the best. If y'all don't know him, Google him, Garrick, Garrick Jones, and you'll get all of what he's got going on out there, brother. Keep pushing, keep grinding, and thank you for being our brother and friend.
Appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good one, man.
All right, we appreciate you too. David, we got to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. If you want to get in with me and David Grubb, you can do it 281-453-1000. That's 281-453-1000. Or text me 832-403-5005. We'll be right back.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. That's 800-547-4170.
This is a potter's field. When people can't pay for their funerals, they are buried here. It is a lonely, desolate place, littered with unmarked headstones. No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be that way. For as low as $1 a day, you can ensure your family will have the money to pay your funeral expenses. We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000. Considering the average funeral costs more than $10,000, that's peace of mind for your family. There are no medical exams, your rates won't increase, and your policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting place is more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. That's 800-308-6729. Paid for by Final Expense Direct.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently, and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? Quick Cash Offer can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents and risking your safety by showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your home to foreclosure. If you have any equity in your home, we will buy it and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call Quick Cash Offer now before the economy gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just don't want to get the cash you need today.
800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. That's 800-780-1431.
Hey, this is Tori and Terry, and we'll run a new show on the legendary KYOK called Marriage Talks with Tori and Terry.
Yes, that's Saturdays at 1 p.m. Marriage Talk with us. You can call in and talk with us about your marriage questions, engagement, relationship questions. We're here to assist you. Saturdays at 1 p.m.
And that's on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
Hey, this is Raven Rogers from the University of Oregon, 800 meters, NCAA, 3-time NCAA champ, art major, Spanish fluent, Houston native, right here. And you're listening to The Lunch Break with KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, along with my brother David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint, AM 1280, New Orleans, Louisiana, 10 to 12, Monday through Friday. And that thing is fire. You better wear them oven mitts when you come on that show because it's hot. And I'm telling you, they got hot guests, they got hot topics, and it's just on like that. David, am I lying or am I testifying?
Testifying. It was funny though. It's like, you know how it goes. Like you get your calls now. I'm definitely getting mine. And it's always funny. I think the funniest thing is the people who tell you stick to sports and keep your politics out of our sport. It ain't about politics and sports. It's about your politics. It's about what you say. And that's the funny part is like you get all these folks and then you look at their timelines or whatever and you see. It's like, man, come on. You've been putting your stuff out there. I'm just trying to do my job. And
we're
gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, it ain't gonna stop. Don't stop, won't stop. So, I'm just saying, thank you for asking, but no. We got one part of the sports brothers, sports fellas trying to get in here with us. So let me get him in. I don't know if you've been on with Dr. Aki Davis. Man, this dude is the consummate single dude, bro. He is the consummate single dude. Aki Davis, Aki! David Grubb on here talking about you, man. I don't know why he's talking about you like that, Aki.
AJ, I heard you, and you got to stop talking about me being the consummate single dude.
I'm trying to tell you, man. If you get married in Guam, I'm walking to Guam to be at your wedding, bro. If you get married in Fiji, I'm swimming to Fiji to be at your wedding. Because if I don't see it, it didn't happen.
Hey, you're not the only one, AJ.
I'm telling you, bro.
Feels that way.
You putting your game out there.
Everything that's going on is like, hey, I mean, some people want to go out during this time.
Yeah, and I know you checking them all out, man. I know you checking them.
Oh, no,
See what I'm saying, David? See what I'm saying? Oh, no, not me.
Man, stop putting people on blast, man.
I mean, you don't want to go out before the virus. We can't go out.
Yeah, don't be trying to fill your groceries up. Can we go to Kroger together? I just want us to spend some time together. No, boo. No. And listen, if you couldn't go to Ruth Chris without me, we ain't going with me. So no.
Exactly.
Aki, I know you didn't want to call and talk about your dating life, man. What's up?
Oh yeah. No, man. I was just saying that, like, with the sports world, with the Texans and the Cowboys players, getting tested positive. A few players getting tested positive. We don't know how many. We just know Ezekiel Elliott is the only person that they've broadcasted so far. I was just thinking, one of the things with sports right now, which really I think they should just eliminate it altogether. I mean, just for the season, for football, basketball, baseball, I just think it's just those guys' lives are at risk too much. But I think if you're looking at even, let's say, basketball wants to continue to play, I think the team that's going to win it are going to be the teams that stay safe. They quarantine, they stay away from everybody else. They don't get out, and I hate to say it, with the protesting and stuff like that, or the guys just had a big Memorial Day weekend, and we get tests, we're getting more and more numbers coming back and forth. But I think the people that choose to hang out or loosen up, or the teams that do that, are going to be the teams that are not going to have a chance. Because you can't afford to lose like a LeBron James in the middle of, trying to restart the NBA if he tests positive for COVID-19. I think the team that, handles it best, keep guys away from people and other people, is the who will win it. But by the same token, is it even why are we even talking about this? Why are we dealing with sports in a situation where people are losing their lives on a daily basis?
Because it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it draws millions of viewers to its attention, which makes sponsors want to put their money into it to get access to those viewers. So, in other words, it's part of the thing that makes this engine go. So it's got to go. David, Aki also writes for the Houston. What's the name of the magazine, Aki?
Houston Rocket Zone.
Houston Rocket Zone. So he is in the know. I got a question before I bring Civil Wilkes on. Would you believe fans will come to the game, Aki, if the Kyrie Irvings, the Jason Tatums, the De'Aaron Foxes, and some of those other players are not out there? I know you're going to have LeBron. You might not have Anthony Davis. You might not have anybody from the Portland Trailblazers. Are fans still going to go out there for that if none of this gets under control?
I think you'll get a percentage of fans that's going to come out anyway. Just like you get people to come out without a mask on now and are not staying safe now, I think you're going to get a percentage of fans that come out regardless, because they're chopping at the bit for sports to come back, and then some people just don't care and feel like they're immune to it. You see it every day.
Yeah. David, I know you got questions. Let's do this. Let me get Civil Wilkes on real quick. And when we come back, I want you to ask your question. I got another one too. And let me just kind of preface it. Should the owners look at a pay-per-view model? I know we already got League Pass and that kind of thing, but I'm even talking about on the network games, some type of pay-per-view model, because in the state of Texas, you can't even have fans in an indoor arena just yet. So we'll come back with David Grubb of Heart in the Paint and Dr. Aki Davis of the Sports Fellows. We'll do that next right here on the lunch break.
Big Civil Wilkes off with what you need to know today about the coronavirus. About 1.5 million laid off workers applied for unemployment benefits last week. Nearly 21 million people are officially classified as unemployed. States are rolling back lockdowns, but the coronavirus is not done with us yet. Cases are rising in nearly half the states, a worrying trend that sent the stock market tumbling this morning. Experts link more testing, outbreaks, and lifting the stay-at-home orders to the uptick in cases. A young woman in her 20s whose lungs were damaged due to COVID-19 has successfully received a double lung transplant. The operation offers new hope for patients with extensive lung damage from coronavirus infection. Sadly, the United States has surpassed 2 million confirmed coronavirus cases Wednesday night as new hotspots emerge and hospitalizations go up in some states. More than 112,000 people have died from the coronavirus nationwide. Visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
Hey guys, this is your girl Brandy Nelson, and you are listening to The Lunch Break on KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on The Lunch Break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. Got David Grubb from Hard in the Paint with us, as always, on Monday. Also got none other than Dr. Aki Davis joining us well. David, I know you had a question before the Sybil Wilkes update. Let me let you go ahead and do that.
Yeah, my question is this. As far as the revenue...
David, you're muted for some reason.
Then that's on you, because I'm not.
Oh, you know what? No, you're not. That's my fault. Do it again. I know. I'm the engineer and the talent, bro. Do it again.
So, my thing is, ticket revenue as a share of what the NBA makes has been going down for the last 5 years. I mean, I think it's somewhere about 22% at this point. And they did play 75% of the games for the season. This had nothing to do with tickets. They ain't worried about tickets. This is all about fulfilling TV contracts. So my thing is, if this is just about fulfilling the TV contracts because of what they can do down the road, I mean, again, I understand TV companies want to make their revenue back, but a pay-per-view model is not going to do it because you have so many Americans, again, who can't afford it. They're already on other streaming services or whatever, whether it's Hulu or whatever. And the NBA certainly could put games on Hulu, which has been a partner. But again, who owns the NBA broadcasting rights? Disney, ABC, and Turner. Those three groups are not sharing that money with anybody because they're trying to recoup it. So the league has no ability, really, to go out and try to secure some pay-per-view money at this point.
Aki, last comments, man. We up against the top of the hour. What's your thoughts, bro? Where do we go from here? I know you kind of like Moses. You wanna lead the people out to the promised land, but I think these folks are gonna go out to these games. We're gonna have sports in 2020.
Mr. Grubb, but the thing is, though, I feel like this. Basketball with a 7-game series, I'm not going to do a pay-per-view for 7 games, AJ. Now, football, they have a little shot because say I'm a Texans fan. That one game on Sunday, I might spring for that. But a 7-game series format, I might pay for maybe game 6, maybe game 7, depending if that decides, like, who moves to the next round. But just, I don't know. I just think financially and there's so many things you can pull up that you can stream that you don't have to pay for, even though you're supposed to pay for it. But that's for another day.
Yeah, that's a whole nother, and don't be messing up my Fire Stick. All right, man, get off my phone. We'll talk to you on Thursday.
And real quick before we go to break, remember this too. The NFL's gonna have to waive blackout restrictions for home games because if you're having stadiums that
hang on, David.
KYOK Conroe, the legend continues.
Hold on, I got to do the disclaimer before I get fired. Y'all stay right there. Disclaimer.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, now we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. David, you were right in the middle of a thought, and I apologize. I had to do that legalese stuff, so go ahead and say what you were saying, brother.
I say, well, the NFL is going to have to waive blackout restrictions because if you're not selling full capacity tickets, you can't hold it against the teams in their cities if people choose not to go to the stadiums. So they're going to have to waive all of that anyway. And then again, you talk about the NFL's television deals with Fox, CBS, NBC, DirecTV, the NFL Network. Again, where are your pay-per-view options are going to be? Because all of those people are trying to get their advertisers their money back, and you can't do that with a pay-per-view situation because that's commercial free.
Yeah, the reason I threw that out there because you look at Disney Plus. I mean, that's that's content you got to pay for.
But you already paid for it, yeah. So they can
Yeah.
put it live on Disney Plus, but if you got the subscription, they got that money in pocket already.
Right, and then you got the CBS, whatever their little deal is, where if you don't watch it on the night that it happened, you got to pay to watch it the next night. So I was just wondering if and I'm just throwing stuff out there because, as I said to Aki before he went, I believe with everything that is within me that somebody, I don't know which league is going to be first, but somebody is going to push through these rising numbers in COVID-19. They're going to push through the fact that Ezekiel Elliott got it. They're going to push through the fact that several Cowboys and Texans have it. They're going to push through that because at the end of the day, there is that much money in their mind at stake. It's like the short, long story. So in another life, I used to be the guy who went to court for my company to try and keep them out of trouble. I was the guy that legal sent before they had to go at their salaries. And they would always tell me, whatever you do, don't lose, don't allow our tariff to suffer a loss. And I'd sit in federal court in Manhattan and I'd hear other cases. There was a tire company that was being sued by a deceased man and had apparently been in there multiple times to the point where the judge finally said, "Counselor, the man did you a favor and died. Can you please settle?" And the attorney said this. He said, "Of course, we do have money that has been set aside for deaths." In other words, they knew that there were going to be a certain amount of deaths because of their tires, and they literally did not want to have to go further into that money for one case. So that being said, the NFL, Major League Baseball, basketball, college, they make so much money that they don't want to say out loud that we'll have to probably pay for some situations and some issues. But believe me when I tell you, they're prepared to.
It's the waivers. The waivers are the thing. That's what they've already started doing. I mean, the Buckeye pledge up at Ohio State, and that's just going to be the first wave of this, of them telling particularly kids, high schoolers and collegiate athletes to sign away their rights to protect themselves. Like you said, you look at the college, we were talking about this, the college numbers. Ohio State has already said it will not even disclose its testing data, which it's a problem for me. This should be full disclosure. You are a public institution. You don't have to put names.
You don't have to put names.
Put numbers out there,
right,
and telling people how many people have tested positive and how often you're testing. Those things should be a matter of public record.
But David, you know what's going to happen. So so-and-so is not playing. We're not able to reveal why, and it's not. It doesn't necessarily have to be COVID-19 related. And
I can keep you out for 2 weeks and nobody will ever know you were quarantined. Because all I got to do is put you on a is not dressed list. And we say it's best for him because we don't want anybody out there who's not playing to get exposed. If we know you're not playing, you're in street clothes, he can stay home. And you can do that for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, however you need to, and never have to say that the person had COVID. Never.
And NBA, DNP.
Yep. DNP, COVID decision. You know what
I mean?
And like you said, Texas A&M, 5 cases. Houston, University of Houston, 6 cases. Iowa State, 10 cases. Clemson, 3 cases. So those are just the numbers they're willing to give you.
Right.
We don't know how many schools have positive tests. We don't know how many athletes have positive tests, and we will never know because these schools are not going to report that information. And again, you have undereducated parents without resources who are not going to be able to file lawsuits on their children's behalf. And no one is going to stand up for the players in this case because they are going to be signing away their rights. That's what they're going to do. And when somebody comes back, unless they start it now, unless you start that challenge now and get into the courts before the season begins, There's not going to be some recompense for them afterwards. It just
Right.
That's the whole thing. Is all you have is your ability to say no. That's all you have right now. And those athletes, those college athletes, and high school young players in particular, need to be talking with their parents about how they can protect themselves. Because, like you said, the train is going to keep moving, and they'll find a way. Money always finds a way to keep the train moving. But we know it is not that owners throughout history have never acted in the best interest of players because they feel that they are disposable and there's another one coming.
Man, I just saw that documentary on YouTube about the Black Wall Street in Tulsa. And it was amazing to me how after everything happened, there were certain groups, even the government, the government of Oklahoma stepped in to help. And it was all about getting land and getting stuff
land
that was just going to generate them more what? Money. Now you have people dead in the streets. You got buildings still smoldering, and you got people literally stepping in to help so that they can make more money. Brother, when I tell you, man, you keep saying it, and it's profound, and I hope people are listening to you. Who is speaking up for these players? I don't want to hear about scholarships. Oh, well, they get a $40,000 scholarship. Bruh, that don't replace lungs.
And it ain't free. That's the whole thing. People keep saying
they earn that, right?
You earn that every time you go to practice. You earn that every time you step on the field. And like you said, you age yourself mentally and physically for that money. And on top of that, they earn that $40,000 value the end of game one. Just take the revenue from game one or game two of the college football season, the first two games. All those kids have paid for their college scholarships for that year. All of them. So don't tell me that they earned that they got what they earned. They're not getting close to what they generate, a fraction of what they generate for what these universities take home.
Well, again, it'll be very interesting to see where it goes from here. Again, when we came on with breaking news in our first hour that several players from the Cowboys, Texans tested positive for COVID-19, one of them being none other than Ezekiel Elliott. Question is, has this changed anything for them? And I've got a number of people who said on both sides that nothing has changed for them. Many said they weren't going anyway, and that's, they're definitely not going now. And then several are saying just because they tested positive does not mean that others will test positive like other leagues are doing. You quarantine those players and play on with the ones who are COVID-free.
But that's not the case around the rest of the world, though. When players are testing positive around the rest of the world, they're shutting down and giving it everybody because you're assuming that cross-contamination is happening regardless. So you take the chance that everybody is exposed. And that's the thing. You're going to see this and people say, well, that's an isolated thing. But that's not how this works. You can't find out immediately the day of that somebody has contracted this virus. It's not the flu. And I hate when people keep saying it's the common cold of the flu. It's not that. It's not that. And so, the detection of it and the fact that we're still 12 to 18 months away from a vaccine, why are you going to put this population at risk that you don't have to for no other purpose? Because it's not like fans make money off of this. Fans are not making money off this. This is purely for their entertainment. And people say, well, what about the stadium workers? Every owner's got enough money in their couch cushions to pay for every one of those stadium workers' yearly salaries. Because these are people who work 10 to 12 times a year total in that stadium for those football games. So those folks, the owners have that money to pay it away. They have enough to pay away. Because if they're only paying $700,000 piece to pay for this players thing, this NFL commitment to social justice, they got the money out there to cover these salaries. It's just a joke that we're allowing the owners to play poor and say that they need to do this and they need to do this on these other folks' behalf. It ain't got nothing to do with that. It's about the image that America is going back to normal, and that could potentially be more dangerous.
Yeah,
everybody's gonna think it's okay because if the athletes are out there, kids are gonna be outside, parents are gonna be outside more so than these dummies are out there now, running around with no masks on and crowding people and standing less than 6 feet away from my neck when I go to the store to pick up stuff. Nah, it's just take all the social unrest out and just focus on the health, and it's a problem.
Yeah. David Grubb, host of Heart in the Paint, joining me as always on Media Monday right here on the lunch break. Got to take a quick break. We'll come back, man. We're going to shift the the talk over to some statements that came out on Friday. Head coach Bill O'Brien made some statements. J.J. Watt trying to get in the flow of things. He gave an A, B, C kind of D thing, and we'll talk about that. And then Baker Mayfield trying to act like he won't be your brother and go to Donna Coleman-Holman's cookout. Don't bring him to my house, Donna. He done lost those +1 rights. We'll do all that when we come back right here on the lunch break. You know what I mean? We'll be right back on the lunch break here on the Legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Help people that have been injured or wrong. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730.
Hey, Carolyn, how you doing, love?
800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
Hey, sports fans, this is AJ Jones, and I know we're all going through some trying times right now. Schools are closed, and things are far from normal. I was thinking, how can we help here on KYOK and on the lunch break, and I heard these words, help make memories. So how about this? How about your child, age 12 and up, has a chance to be my co-host for the day? That's right, 30 minutes every Tuesday right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK. Your child can invite their friends, their family, and even their classmates to hear them talk sports with me, AJ Jones, on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK, AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. Send me an email message at aj@kyoksports.com. That's aj@kyoksports.com with your child's name and why they should be the one to be my co-host for the day. Again, we're going to make memories during this tough times right here on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Having trouble getting focus? Getting your to-do list turned on?
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
All right,
It's
coming in right after this.
It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org. You're listening to The Lunch Break on KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones with David Grubb. And David, man, I tell you what, this new buzzword is herd mentality. Herd mentality. AJ, you got to let the herd mentality take its place and run its course. with all these players getting back out there, sooner or later, they will be immune to the virus. And this dude probably has I don't want to disrespect anybody, but I don't know what he did in math, science, or reading. Just because he can type a text message don't mean he has any idea how to diagnose and handle infectious diseases. So I just try to get valid sources. That's all I'm saying. Ain't no disrespect. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying. David, help me out.
Gotta read. You gotta get out there and read some things. First, it's called herd immunity, bruh. It ain't no herd. And herd immunity only works with a vaccine. That's how you get herd immunity. We didn't get herd immunity from polio from being around each other. We had a polio vaccine and everybody took it. And then you got herd immunity.
I thought I was rough on him, bro. I thought I was rough on him, but you were savage.
Let's just get down to this. You cannot cure a virus. So you cannot be immune to a virus. The common cold is a virus. The flu is a virus. Bronchitis is a virus. You cannot be immune to a virus. You can take something that helps prevent you from getting it, like a shot, but you cannot be immune to a virus. You can build up a resiliency. See, these are things, and I am not a phlebotomist, I am not a disease specialist, but I read. And this is what we must do. And athletes themselves place themselves at a higher risk. Again, go read this medically because of the amount of physical exertion they put themselves under. And you have an African-American population that is dying disproportionately at a higher rate and is being impacted disproportionately at a higher rate than everyone else. And you are going to ask large masses of said African-Americans to see each other in confined quarters on a daily basis when they have been sweating, bleeding, all up on each other, breathing, coughing, and guys are going to get up. And this is, again, the nature of sports. I don't feel 100%, but I got to go to work today because the number one ability is availability. So you're going to see people who are immunocompromised on the field constantly. There is no herd immunity, my bruh. Go read some books, some magazines, and get yourself up to speed because it doesn't work that way.
Just drop the mic, Doc. He already did. He ain't breathing no more, Doc. Stop the fight. Stop the fight. Stop the fight. All right, so I said I wanted to, I'm afraid to do it now. Friday, around 3 o'clock, Bill O'Brien gave this message. The players have a right to protest, a right to be heard, and a right to be who they are. They're not taking a knee because they're against our flag. They're taking a knee because they haven't been treated equally in this country for over 400 years. So Bill O'Brien says he's all for players taking a knee.
Way to step out on that branch. That's the statement we needed that one. You know what I'm saying? It's just like Dabo Swinney. Did you see his statement over the weekend?
I did.
Black lives significantly matter.
Yeah, thanks, Dabo.
You know, again, it's like y'all still don't get it. It's still otherizing. It's still otherizing. You are not, this is not the black player. If it's just the black players fight, it'll never succeed. And that's the whole thing is you think you're sympathetic, but you're still making it their cause. They have this right. They have this. They have this. They have not been treated properly. Well, what are you doing, coach? That's the end of it? You're going to allow them to protest? Well, okay. Did you need to make a statement on that? Because the rest of it is worthless. It's just garbage. All you're doing is performing to make a statement. You said nothing. You are not talking about what your organization is going to do. You're not talking about, as the most powerful person outside of the owner in the organization, what you're going to do to put more people in the front office, what you're going to do to address your coaches, what you're going to do to magnify the voices of the players from your position of privilege. What are you going to do, coach? You said nothing on that. And you still I don't think you view this as an American issue. You still view it as their issue, because even when you say our flag, the people you were talking to are white people. You are not talking to black people. So you're saying they respect our flag, not the flag of this nation. You are saying our flag. And those words mean something, and the intonation in which they're given means something, and they are more revealing than anything else he said.
David, I couldn't have said it better because I caught that hour. That thing, that would not let me sleep. I have to take I got two quick commercials. I'm coming back and I want to dive into that a little bit further. I think I'm going to be a little messy, might be a little petty, but I think I know why Bill O'Brien is making all these statements. I'll reveal it next when we come back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I see we got a caller standing by. We'll be right back with you after this.
Eliminate your expensive cable bill forever or get new satellite internet where cable can't go. Well, now you can have affordable satellite internet service for a few dollars a day. All you need is a mini satellite installed, and you can have unlimited internet connections wirelessly in your home or office. And no cable boxes means unlimited connections and no clutter. You can surf the internet or stream any of your favorite television services with no cable. And the best part is, satellite internet service costs only a few dollars a day for your entire home. Yes, fast internet to surf or stream television for a few bucks a day. Call now for free details and learn how to drop your expensive cable bill.
800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. That's 800-712-8044.
Wants to get ripped off, broken into, or robbed, but nobody wants to pay a lot of money to have their home protected either. I've got an offer to tell you about to provide home security for your home for less than $1 a day. For real, with no installation or equipment charges. And this is from a company rated #1 by a leading consumer research company. According to the facts, most of you won't even call unless there's a burglary in your neighborhood or something bad happens. So let's give you a reason. Save money. For less than $1 a day with no other costs, you can get your home secured. Plus, get a lifetime equipment replacement warranty. You need protection for your home. Call the Home Security Hotline right now.
800-561-6947. 800-561-6947. 800-561-6947. Again, that's 800-561-6947.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. David Grubb over here knocking them out, y'all. Mama said knock you out. I'm going to knock you out. David Grubb is doing it. Hard in the paint, done hit the lunch break. You don't even get no soup. Just sit there and eat your food. But we got to invite somebody else in as well. My brother like no other. Keith, what's going on? Welcome to the lunch break, bro.
Thank you, brother. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. David Grubb over here ain't playing with him. He's giving them education on stuff they should have got in school.
I hear him, man. I hear him. David, you doing all right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Good, man. Hey, listen, you guys were talking about the impacts of this COVID and how positive testing could impact the bottom line or the dollars if a lot of the owners, or at least they pretend like it is. But, you know, and you touched on a little bit about the college athletes and how this impacts universities. And I wanted to continue that conversation, but even to a deeper degree. I'm sure you guys have seen this, but there's been several programs, not several, there's been quite a few, more than a couple dozen, that have canceled a lot of the smaller sports within their programs simply because financially they couldn't withhold or withstand one off season without them. And what that does and how important college football is to that is that revenue that comes from folks sitting in the stands is absolutely huge to them. But I find it interesting in the same way that baseball owners, you guys put the numbers up for the last 12 or 14 years, have been making their making their, they've been profiting tremendously, or rather handsomely. I find it interesting that colleges and universities, especially public colleges and universities, who make in Power Five conferences to speak in general, have made tremendous amounts of money, and yet the minute they have one scare or some thought of something impacting their financial, let's call it what it is, their profit, they immediately, the student athlete suffers. Programs, and it just blows me away. And the reason why I talk about this is because there's a lot of kids in inner city schools who depend on, look forward to signing day at some university or college. And whether or not they last for 4 years, just the fact that they've signed on to say, I want to continue my pursuit of a sport at a college and or D1 or D2 school, it's pretty amazing. But not to be able to do that because, in my humble opinion, and I haven't seen the books, I'm just speaking off of what I see, I find it very hard to believe that Cincinnati is one. University of Cincinnati cut 3 programs. Like COVID started in March, they cut them in April. And I'm just going, man, what? But you can build brand new. And here's the bottom line to me, guys. I think that coaches' salaries in college football have gotten tremendously out of whack to the point that schools were still paying off college coaches who left their program. They're in the books to pay people who left them or they fired them to find someone better. And as a result, now the schools are looking at themselves going, we've got a bad situation on our hands. Last thing I'll say about this, let that be you and I, Joe the consumer, who goes to work every day, and we end up on welfare. What do you think the words of these so-called conservative universities, what do you think their thoughts would be? Well, we can't have them on welfare, but this is exactly what these colleges are doing, just to a higher level. And it's a shame that they continue to placate the athlete. And David, I believe it was you who said it earlier, you cannot, the only negotiating tool that the athlete has is their talent. And if you have it at a young age, the best thing that they can do is negotiate wages and or salaries and opportunities, medical, whatever that looks like, for them at this very moment. Cannot wait, because you have to take advantage of it before they say, okay, a deal is done, because then there's no turning back on that.
Go ahead, David. I know you want to respond.
Well, I mean, I think, you look at the ramifications. There are very few college programs that actually make money off of football. So they pretend that football is the driving economic engine. For the major schools, absolutely. But for a lot of these smaller schools, it just doesn't. It costs them more money at the end of the season to run football. But it's the appearance of being a big school that they need. They need that. If we don't have football, we're not a real school type of thing. And that's a conversation on one hand that we could have another time about the conflagration between education and athletics in the United States, which is different than any other country in the world. But if we want to break it down to the financial piece, Title IX is about to take a big hit. You're about to see a dangerous time for Title IX and women's sports in particular, considering what Betsy DeVos has done to weaken Title IX on its own. And then the fact that universities will now be able to use, again, like you said, use COVID-19 as a reason to cut what we call the Olympic sports, the non-revenue sports of that don't generate and don't sustain themselves naturally. So university's going to use that excuse because those are easy cuts to make. I can cut the coach that makes $50,000. I can get rid of these players who play soccer. I can get rid of them. I don't need them. But this coach that makes $10 million over here, this coach that makes $3 million over here, and his staff that makes $3 to $4 million combined or whatever, They're not trying to get rid of them because they want access to the big dollar boosters. And so it's just as political again with that as it is anything that have to do with just the plain revenue. They're thinking about their images. University presidents are thinking about their jobs and the protection if they were to say, well, maybe this isn't going to work for us. Maybe football is no longer financially viable for us. But quite frankly, a lot of these institutions should be looking at that in the first place because we're seeing it. We see it when HBCUs try to jump up to D1, how much that cost is and how much it burdens them. You're seeing so many universities. People need to look at this too. The amount of debt service that universities are carrying on these stadium expansions, on these locker rooms and things that they've been building over the last few years, they are carrying significant amounts of debt on that. And that also is a reason they're going to be shutting down these programs, these other athletic programs, is because of the debt that they incurred on behalf of football. So there's a lot of stuff that we, especially with our public institutions, need to be examining when it comes to athletic departments and why they have such independent reign to decide about their budgets and how their money gets spent. The university presidents, again, should have way more control over their athletic departments, and we've let that get out of hand. And a lot of young people who need that opportunity in particular to play these minor sports, who this is their only avenue to get to the Olympics, to get to that kind of level, and they're going to have it stripped, particularly women who are going to be disproportionately affected by all these things. Yeah, it's going to be bad for the next year or two until we see either a new president come in to strengthen Title IX again, or you start to see what I think is going to happen is the Power Five breaking away anyway and doing its own thing and just getting as much money as it can get.
I totally agree with that, man. 100% agree with that. I think the Power Five schools are setting themselves up to break away anyway, because they don't want anyone to threaten their livelihood or pocketing that fat check they get at the end of the year from one of their teams, specifically in the SEC, when those teams are making it to the national championships, and one team appearance spreads the wealth for all the division. I just find that kind of amazing.
Keith, I think we've seen more this with all this going on, where they were even talking about playing their own schedules. Not playing other schools and what have you. And like NCAA said one thing, and these guys like, yeah, okay, whatever. And they were literally having their own meetings to say exactly the opposite of what the NCAA was trying to get them to say. So I think this is being very telling on a lot of fronts where it comes to the NCAA. But we go back to the very basis of this conversation, the health and the well-being of these student athletes. Who is going to speak up for them? Who's going to speak up from them from a health standpoint? Who's going to speak up for them as far as, their programs being, able to go on in schools like that? Like you said, with the gutting of Title IX, a lot is going on, and somebody with a a more mature mind needs to be making these decisions than just on a political basis. And what's best for their standing, their individual standing, I should say.
Absolutely, man. Fellas, I'll leave y'all with this, man. I went to the doctor, the optometrist, to get my eyes checked, and I'm horrible. I've got to get glasses and all this kind of stuff. But they told me my vision was way off. In order for me to get 20/20, I need to have corrective surgery or whatever they call it.
LASIK.
And yeah, exactly. And so, or I could wear glasses and, until it gets to that point where it kind of corrects itself. And what that made me realize, man, is when I thought about having 20/20 vision, I thought about the year 2020. And I believe that God is clearly revealing some things for us so that we can see clearly that this year is a year about looking at what's really happening behind closed doors, and more important, what God is doing in our lives. And I think He's revealing the wickedness of this world, man. And we better open our eyes to see it.
I tell you what, man, we better pay attention to what we're seeing and remember it, because if not, we'll run into this bad boy again. Wait, weren't you the one? Didn't you have a knife that hit me in my back? Yeah, I need to know. Keith, it's always a pleasure, man. You know the deal. Anytime you can, man, hit us up.
Yes, sir. Take care, man.
All right, Keith is always a good call. Donna Coleman-Holman said it best. Keith ain't drinking the Kool-Aid. You're right, he doesn't. David Grubb ain't drinking it either. David?
I like Kool-Aid.
You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Could Bill O'Brien be making all these Black Lives Matters, and I love what they doing now. I get it. I'm gonna do it with them. There's still a class action, race discrimination in the workplace lawsuit hanging out there, and it was alleged that it was related to Brian Gaine, and that he was the one getting rid of all these different people and telling folks, hey, too many of y'all are eating at the same table in the break room and all that. But we now know without a shadow of a doubt who the puppet master was. Brian Gaine might have been at the end of the strings, but Bill O'Brien was the one maneuvering the strings. And that case has not been settled.
Mm-hmm.
That case has not been decided.
Right.
Could Bill O'Brien, and I'm not trying to throw stones, I'm just asking. It's my job to ask the question. Could he possibly be trying to make that case go away? I'm just asking.
Yeah. I mean, all these dudes right now, all these leagues, all these coaches, owners, nobody gets the revelation. Like, all of a sudden, everybody is Saul on the road to Damascus. All these owners out here, and they're blinded by the light, and they see it, and now they're okay. Nah, it doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. None of us come to. If it took all this for you to realize something that's been in your face, and now all of a sudden you have this empathy, this newfound understanding, and you came to that in a week, and you came to that in less than a week, I don't buy it. I can't buy it, because there's no other place in life where we would accept that. You know what I'm saying? But we are asked on our end to believe everybody every time they ask for our forgiveness, or every time they say, I see it now where I missed it before. We are asked, the burden is put on athletes.
Yeah.
The burden of forgiveness is always thrown on Black people. The burden of conciliation is always thrown on Black people. So when white folks step out and they say, well, you see it on social media, you see it in national media, you see it. Well, we've said that this is a problem. We've acknowledged it. So why are y'all still angry?
But
because
David,
it's not fixed.
David, let me humbly propose unto you that maybe I've been called nose blind. I got a Great Dane. I had big dog. I like big dogs. I don't like little dogs. I like big dogs.
My dog is little.
God bless you and your little dog. I like big dogs. I like to wrestle with my dog and all of that. And people would come to my house and say, you got a dog, don't you? I'm like, yeah, I got a dog. Have you seen my dog? No, I can smell your dog. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I just cleaned up. I just did this. I just did that. But they could smell what I couldn't see. So I was nose blind because I was used to the dog.
Yeah.
And maybe Bill O'Brien and Cal McNair and Dabo Sweeney and all these other folks are just nose blind. They just been busy. They just been trying to get the Texans right. They trying to make America great again. We trying to keep people from kneeling on the flag and during the anthem. And maybe they just been nose blind. Maybe Bill O'Brien is not trying to make the lawsuit go away. Maybe he's just trying to come to a deeper awareness and be more understanding.
Again, how do you get that deeper awareness this quickly? Where was it? We're assuming, again, we're talking about these are supposedly intelligent people, college educated, who have been around. These are the men who have been around Black people, coaching Black folks for 20, 25, 30 years. And in none of that time, none of it, did they become aware of these issues until this past week. All of that time before, it was just happening all around them and they never saw it and ignored it. What country do you live in, man? What country do you live in where people can say this and say all of a sudden, no.
David, it's because the neighbor came over and said, hey, I smell your dog. And now I'm aware of it. So I got to say, I'm sorry. I would have cleaned up better if I had smelled it myself.
There's a big difference. Your dog is a resident in your home, right? And it's just like I got kids and I know my daughter. I walk in the room and yes, I can tell baby, your dirty clothes are funky as I don't know what. We got to get that hamper out of here and wash the stuff. She, again,
But
like you
Dave,
said, she can't smell it because she lives in it.
Right.
But she's not the cause of it. She's not part of that. She is living among it. And so when you see, it's not like her clothes and that funk is jumping out and hurting other people. You know what I'm saying? It's not like your dog is going around and biting people. If your dog bit everybody that came in your home and you ignored it, that's a whole different story. And one morning you wake up and see bloody legs all over your house and you're like, oh, my dog's been biting people. Now you somebody that just went blind. But that takes an active choice on your part to not see what's right in front of your face. A smell is in the atmosphere. This ain't an atmosphere. This is a system. This is a thing that you see every day at work. This is a thing you hear about every day at work. So how can you be around people, let alone black people by themselves, and have avoided this conversation and avoided this realization your entire adult life? That's an active choice.
We got to take a break. I want to come back and I want to finish this part of the conversation. I got to say hey to somebody who tuned in for the first time, and I got to give her some love before we break off. Angela Price Hardiman tuned into the show. Got to say hello to her. We'll be right back.
It's called To Inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident, or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident, or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. That's 800-547-4170.
This is a potter's field. When people can't pay for their funerals, they are buried here. It is a lonely, desolate place, littered with unmarked headstones. No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be that way. For as low as $1 a day, you can ensure your family will have the money to pay your funeral expenses. We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000. Considering the average funeral costs more than $10,000, that's peace of mind for your family. There are no medical exams, your rates won't increase, and your policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting place is more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. That's 800-308-6729. Paid for by
It's the lunch break on KYOK.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones, and I'm just trying to get us to calm down. Can't we all just get along?
I'm sorry.
I just hope Bill O'Brien ain't just trying to make that case go away. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. But you know what? You David Grubb, host of Hard in the Paint, AM 1280, also writes for CrescentCitySports.com. Does this show Monday through Friday from 10 to 12. Y'all got to check it out because I'm telling you, it's lit.
Got Clinton Yates tomorrow from ESPN, yeah. And I got Howard Bryant coming on Thursday.
I'm gonna call y'all and troll y'all tomorrow. I'm calling and troll y'all. What time is Brother Yates gonna be on?
I'm not telling you now because you're gonna come and try to mess with my show.
Call in and say,
I put the billboard.
Call in and say, hey y'all, how y'all doing? Can y'all play that record? That one record? What's that record? I can't remember. It goes something like this. All in the middle of your show.
Let me tell you something real quick, because I know we only got about 15 minutes in. This weekend, I had the tremendous pleasure of interviewing Mahmoud Abdul Rauf for an hour. And I'm editing that conversation now because we did it on Zoom, and I had there was some technical issues with the video, so I'm turning it into an audio interview, and I got to re-record some of my questions. But I want folks to watch out for that, because that conversation between us, and it really was much more of a conversation than an interview. But this is somebody who's lived through this before as an athlete, has had to make some very difficult decisions, and is extremely contemplative. Also works on improving the situations for collegiate athletes. So there's just a lot in there that he said that just moved me. And I think folks, when it's done, and it should be either today, either up late today or tomorrow, it's just again the opportunity to speak to people who truly understand it, and maybe not are perfect in the way that they communicate it or perfect in their solutions, but just are truthful and honest. And that's in these times, man, people who are speaking it and just letting it go, that's the people we got to listen to, because at least then that honesty is what drives things forward. And it's not the performance. It's not trying to be my friend right now. Like I said, ally and friend are two different things. We need people working for the same goal. I don't need you to hug me and kiss me right now.
There's some truth to that. I can't wait to hear that interview. I love, and again, I told you this before, but I love that, man, you have been putting his name out there. It's a name that should not have to be put back out there. That name should be revered, man. This brother did it on the collegiate level. He did it on the NBA level, at the highest levels. But because of his faith, because he went from Chris to Mahmoud, it's like all of a sudden we don't care about him anymore, because the very thing that this nation was founded on, the freedom of religion, this man chose a religion that people don't understand, and now all of a sudden he's no longer of any value to anybody else.
And he's just an incredibly voracious reader. He was throwing out quotes by James Baldwin, throwing out WB. Just dude is so well read, and people don't understand that he's voracious in his appetite for education, and just he wants to know all sides of everything, because ultimately his goal is the liberation of his people. And when you have given up what he's given up, people forget his home was burned down in Mississippi because of his stance. People forget he lost his NBA career because of his stance. People forget that he has never looked back for a moment.
Right.
Like if you talk to him, he's got some anger, but his anger is about the issues at hand. It ain't about what's happened to him. He's good. He's good with his life.
Yeah.
But he's still serious about these issues, and I think it's more raw than I was willing to put on the radio.
Okay.
Because it's one of those conversations that is just real honest. And a little too honest for some.
Yeah.
But it'll definitely be out as a podcast, and then of course on my social media and things like that. I'll have a link to it. But it's one of the best conversations I've ever had with a professional athlete or former.
Yeah, let me know so I can point folks in the direction of that. Not a good example, but here's an example. When WWE superstar Randy Orton tweeted in support of the Black Lives Matter movement a couple of weeks ago, it caused many in the professional wrestling community to do a double take. After all, Orton had previously been outspoken against former San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick kneeling during the national anthem, tweeting in 2016, "Americans are dying. Pigment of skin doesn't matter. American people matter." So with previously expressed views like that, for Orton to say this, all lives do matter. But the point I was trying to make is that I finally realized that until Black Lives Matter, they can't. Get it? Some folks are getting it. Some folks are seeing it differently now than they did back then. Or am I Pollyanna and I need to sing "The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow"?
I'm not going to put, and I've said it over and over again. I continue to say it. I'm not putting stock in anybody's words. So I see what goes on 2 months from now when the election happens. Where are these people then? If they're voting, if in November you're still voting for Trump, if in November you're still voting for people whose policies affect Black people in a negative way, then none of this is all for naught. You just came out and said it because it was easy for you to do right now. Like I said, this is a position of comfort for most white Americans right now because the easiest thing to do is say Black Lives Matter and keep it moving. What are you going to do? What are you going to do, Randy Orton? What are you going to do? Because I'd rather you not say anything if you're not going to do anything. Your statement alone doesn't work for me. It should not be enough for anybody because we've been down this road before where people are public allies and privately they never show up. So, yeah, Randy Orton can write what he wants. He can say what he wants, all of them. Everybody can apologize. They can get down and kiss Black people's feet like you see in some of these weird things where white people begging for forgiveness. Man, do all of that if that's what you're feeling. But it don't mean nothing if you don't change how you vote. If it doesn't mean nothing if you don't see that the police system is wrong and the way it's set up and needs to be fixed. If you don't understand those essential things, you getting the basic minimum that Black people shouldn't be dying. You ain't getting no cookie. You ain't getting no star on your chart. You ain't getting first in line for milk. None of that. You don't get a reward for getting the basics down.
Let the people go first, get their milk, man. Why you doing that? JJ Watt responded to a tweet that's now been deleted, where somebody was basically saying after Bill O'Brien made his statements about the other players having the right to protest, that JJ Watt ain't gonna protest. And JJ said, A, don't speak for me, and B, if you're still thinking it's about disrespecting the flag or our military, you clearly haven't been listening. A lot of fans have responded that they getting rid of their JJ Watt jerseys and that JJ Watt is now a bleeding heart liberal and he has been won over by the media machine and they done sucked his brain out and all this kind of stuff has happened to Pola JJ Watt.
Double-digit sacks fix that. Double-digit sacks. These people go forget that stuff. Just like on a lesser scale, LeBron leaves Cleveland, they burn the jersey, come back, put the sign back up, put the giant mural back up. If JJ Watt helps lead the Texans to another division championship and he has a Pro Bowl year and he's a challenger for Defensive Player of the Year, the same people will put their JJ Watt jerseys and will go down and grab another one if they burnt it or whatever, put it away. They ain't changing because nowhere in there did he say he was going to kneel. Nowhere in there did he say he was going to do something.
Yeah,
he just said, I hear the conversation. That's all he's saying. And don't speak for me. Because JJ Watt knows, too, he got to walk in that locker room. And so all his teammates, I'm sure, saw it and was like, and them eye emojis came up. So same with Baker Mayfield when he says, don't speak for me. But again, Baker, we know your deal, bro. We get it. What are you going to do? They don't have to kneel at all anymore. The players don't have to kneel. I'm not saying they're beyond it. If the players do kneel, that's cool and all. But I don't want to see this whole thing where it's 53 guys kneeling, and then as soon as they go home after the game is over, they're doing the same stuff. They're doing, again, their agenda hasn't changed. They just figured out the game so that they don't lose nothing. You just figure out the game. Just say it so people will leave you alone and get back to making your money the same way you always have.
So you trying to say Baker Mayfield ain't down for the cause? Because I've been told that because Baker can dance, that Baker is down for the cause, which is the most insulting thing in the world to me.
We got to stop that.
Just because somebody can dance.
We got to stop that.
And Donna Coleman Holman, I ain't talking about you, but I'm just saying, if one more person tell me because that boy can dance, he coming to the barbecue, I'm canceling the barbecue.
We got to stop doing that because we keep making folks honorary Black people, and I don't get that. I don't get that. You know what I'm saying? There's no that doesn't change my friendship with somebody. I don't have to give them a fake title. Nobody else is out there saying I'm an honorary Asian, I'm an honorary white. You ain't getting them, but Black folk want to give that away because we're so desperate sometimes to identify people who we think get us. Loving our culture ain't never been a problem. Loving our music and the way we dress and all those things and what we bring to the table, that's never been a problem in America. So I don't give you no credit just because you know the lyrics, because you know the moves or whatever. Again, Baker, what have you done? What have you done? And that's what everybody should be judged on. You are not my ally because you say you are. You're my ally by what your actions are. And I haven't heard Baker Mayfield do anything yet. I haven't seen him do anything yet. So he can lean with it and rock with it if he wants to. But the real rocking with it is in the streets and in the houses of legislatures.
Yeah, and Donna, all joking aside, seriously, I'm never talking about you when I make that statement. We have a running joke about him being her plus one. Donna can come to my, who is it? Donna Coleman-Holman, come on in, girl. Who you got with you? Anybody but Baker, she can come on in. But man, we got to get ready to go. It's been another hot show. I didn't get to a fraction of the stuff I want to get to, but
my fault.
No, it ain't your fault. It's just been that's what it's been for the last 2 weeks, man. This thing has taken on a life of its own, and I'm just gonna let it do that. That's been my commitment to the craft. We're gonna let it be what it be. If they just want the same old, they know where they can get that down the dial. But when they come here, they know that it's gonna take a life of its own. So, David, tell everybody where they can find you, follow you, and do your thing.
And it's funny too. Quickly, it's like they would say, "Stick to sports." Well, tell me the scores from last night. You know what I mean? Tell me the scores from last night. What game
wait.
you want me to cover? And
I'll wait. Mm-hmm.
So again, if you want to follow me, it's at DM Grubb on Twitter, Instagram. You can also look for HITP with DG and the iHeartRadio app. Subscribe to the podcast, please, if you can't listen live. Again, thank you to everybody. I love y'all. Y'all are an awesome crew. And Donna Coleman, she about to be she about to run my fan club.
I'm trying to tell you, she will hype it up, bro. She likes your style. I like your style, bro. You come in here and you just knock them out. Mama said knock you out. So, David, appreciate you, man. I'll be tuning in tomorrow from 10 to 12. Y'all do the same on the iHeartRadio app. It's Hard in the Paint with David Grubb. Hey, man, take care. We'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
All right, now. All right, y'all. David Grubb doing it as only he can. Let me get Sybil Wilkes in here real quick. She'll give us an update on COVID-19, and then we'll wrap this thing up right after this on the lunch break.
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today about the coronavirus. About 1.5 million laid-off workers applied for unemployment benefits last week. Nearly 21 million people are officially classified as unemployed. States are rolling back lockdowns, but the coronavirus is not done with us yet. Cases are rising in nearly half the states, a worrying trend that sent the stock market tumbling this morning. Experts link more testing, outbreaks, and lifting the stay-at-home orders to the uptick in cases. A young woman in her 20s whose lungs were damaged due to COVID-19 has successfully received a double lung transplant. The operation offers new hope for patients with extensive lung damage from coronavirus infection. Sadly, the United States has surpassed 2 million confirmed coronavirus cases Wednesday night as new hotspots emerge and hospitalizations go up in some states. More than 112,000 people have died from the coronavirus nationwide. Visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
You're having your lunch on the lunch break with KYOK.
All right, y'all. Man, I ain't got nothing else to do with this, but get on out of the way. So, Donnie McClurkin up next with the Donnie McClurkin Show. He'll give you the best in gospel music, the latest in the gospel music industry. Donnie does his thing every Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. In the morning, you got Erica Campbell and Griff Get Up Mornings, and it will be another hot show. So y'all be sure to tune into them. They've been going in as well. And then Lord Say the Same, I'll be back with Tune Texas Tuesday. I've got more virtual co-hosts of the day, so be sure to tune in tomorrow from 10 to 12. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you, and there's nothing you can do about it except wear your face mask, wash your hands, socially distance from people, and realize that when people say Black Lives Matter, they are not trying to say other lives don't matter too. Just trying to help you, okay? As always, y'all, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care. All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed the show. Just another one. More deaths out there. You've got 2 people who have been mysteriously committed suicide by hanging themselves in California, about 50 miles apart from each other. And the coroner has been quick to rule them as suicide. I say this like I've never said it before. Be woke. Wake up. Be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of what's going on around you. Just because that's what it looks like after we find you, I don't mean that's what happened to you. And yeah, that's cryptic. I want you to catch that. So be careful. There's some folks that's not going to accept this change. There's some folks that's not ready to give this up. Some folks that's not ready to stop this fight. Yeah, we had another brother that's been killed in Atlanta. We got some others that have been killed in other places since George Floyd. All I'm telling you is just be aware. This thing right here is bigger than you can imagine, but it is doable. It is doable. So do me a favor, just stay aware of what's going on around you. Be safe. For a while, if you can avoid it, try not to be out in certain places by yourself at certain times, okay? I'm just giving it to you from my heart because I don't want to hear about anything happening to anybody that we care about. So y'all take care, all right? All right, I love you.